Greetings with many good wishes for you. I'm pleased to share with you the first study in the series entitled Prophetical Lights in Dark Places. These prophetical lights cast much light, so I understand, on the subjects of faith, doubts, and incredulity. In the religious, spiritual environs of our world, there are prophecies that are authentic, fulfilled, to be fulfilled, and many that are false. Regarding faith, different kinds are detected: genuine faith, distorted faith, a pretended faith, blind faith, weak faith, dead faith, a self-serving, convenient faith. With reference to doubts, we observe that a great many of them spring up where there is a dearth of knowledge due to a lack of interest and study, that questionings left unresolved may well debilitate, even kill any kind of faith, and that negative concepts of the religious and prejudices against any and all religions are not only the seedbed of a plethora of doubts, but also a pure secularism and outright atheism. With regard to incredulity, some atheists appeal to arguments held to be valid, convinced their position is rational. On the other hand, the subjective atheism of others is to be classified logically as irrational. The unbelieving who do no more than ridicule are bereft by nature of any credibility. I've invited Mr. John Puzzle to this study. For him, life often turns into a great riddle, mystery, enigma. His dilemmas of the mind and spirit I myself have also confronted once and again across the years of my youth and adulthood on the surface of this extraordinary blue planet, Earth of the solar system, in the Milky Way. Perhaps you have experienced them too to some degree, just as I have. I kindly ask you and Mr. Puzzle to not reject my invitation to this study on prophetical lights because of the principal emphasis precisely on prophecies. Personally, in my battles to overcome doubts, isolate incredulity, and have a robust faith in which I could be confident and joyful, fulfilled Bible prophecies, and those presently being fulfilled, have played and continue to play a decisive role. Let me be perfectly clear. Prophecies found in the Bible and not in other books, nor those proclaimed by the hordes of self-appointed prophets and prophetesses of these times. As for me, I am not a prophet, but a student of prophecies. Please take a little time to get to know Mr. John Puzzle, an intriguing personality with three alternating views of himself, so that you will not miss, as he has up to now, seeing the first prophetical light of this series. He has missed it, up to now, because of his real state of mind, ego, inner man. About 3 miles from the business where John works, there is a wide, fertile field where wheat is sown. Now and then he stops to contemplate for a few moments that beautiful nature scene, thinking about how the earth produces such great quantities of grain for human and animal consumption, fascinated by the great solitary tree barely visible on the horizon, and marveling at the vast heavenly vault above, with its hues of blue and little white clouds, he says to himself, truly, there are very strong reasons for believing in an almighty Creator. In the image on the right that John Puzzle has of himself, he visualizes an enormous galaxy, projecting it in his imagination in the heavens above the tree, and his faith grows even more as he is genuinely impressed by the enormity, design, and precision of the material universe. This is John's positive view of himself. However, a negative view takes hold of him on other occasions, as in the image of himself on the left before the same scene. Few pieces of the puzzle of his life remain interconnected. Flickering across his mind are disturbing visions of multitudes of malnourished men, women, and especially children around the globe. Deeply troubling visions of ceaseless injustices of life, of widespread vices and criminal activities, of civil, racial, and political violence, rampant in not a few areas, of fearful plagues and devastating diseases that result in great suffering and premature death for millions, of extremely violent weather systems that destroy crops, forests, buildings, houses, and lives. Other such visions from the dark side often swirl through his head and heart. Thus ruminating, his mind and spirit become filled with thick, wispy tendrils of bleakness. Doubts sap his intellect, heart, and soul, and his faith is whisked away by the cold winds of skepticism and incredulity. In the center, John projects himself as he would like to be, with the puzzles of life harmoniously resolved in his mind, soul, spirit. Every piece in place, well-ordered, logical, zero dilemmas, conflicts, doubts, peace and tranquility to the max. How exceedingly delightful and comforting. But the image of John facing us represents his true self, his ego, his inner man, discovering, to be sure, an absolutely fearful state. The upper part is lacking, vital for an integral, intelligent being, completely formed, able to formulate correct conclusions regarding the great subjects of life. Much key knowledge is lacking. To top it off, Mr. John Puzzle has created, in his own mind, a circular grill of interconnected, hardened steel that obstructs the entrance of such knowledge. Steel circles such as preconceived ideas and philosophies that have hardened into dogmas, calcified religious spiritual prejudices, a steely resistance to new information, intellectual inertia, illogical reasonings, etc. This grill keeps many pieces of the puzzle of life from falling into place. Do you have a grill like that in your own head? Do I have a similar one in mine? If so, each of us needs to break it up and extract it, throwing the pieces in the red waste can marked dangerous, potentially fatal. In the image of that shocking head, only one glowing puzzle piece rests on that incongruous, dangerous grill. It represents a large group of interconnected pieces related to authentic prophecies. Some writing on the shining puzzle piece constitutes a very important clue to the puzzles of life, to wit, the words, "And we have more firm the prophetic word, to which we do well giving heed, as to a lamp shining in a dark place, till day may dawn, and a morning star arise in your hearts." Perhaps you may now better appreciate the importance of getting to know Mr. John Puzzle, for he epitomizes the dilemmas of men, women, and young people who have yet to see in the dark regions of this world and their own hearts the powerful light of prophecy, glowing across years, decades, centuries, as a lamp for chambers of the mind-heart, as a torch for the dark caves of the psyche spirit. In the second video of the series, we see and describe and apply the first prophetical light. It is the prophecy of Jesus Christ for Jerusalem and the Jewish temple, fulfilled 40 years after it was proclaimed. Not one stone will be left on another. That will not be destroyed. I invite you to see the amazing, complete fulfillment of this shocking prophecy. My name is Dwayne Shapley, teacher and evangelist at the service of Christ and His Church. My internet site is www.editoriallapaz.org. More than 2,000 articles and in-depth studies, most in Spanish, 50 plus in English, in various formats.